Hey everyone, Dan at Bushcraft. Well, I am out here just enjoying the morning with my new fanny pack survival kit. And what's cool about this is nostalgia for me. Um, Growing up in the 80s in high school and in the 90s, fanny packs were the thing. If you went out in the woods on a weekend when people were out fishing, camping, hiking, and then during hunting season, everybody was wearing fanny packs back in the 80s and 90s. I had one on all the time. If I was out hiking, fishing, whatever, I had some kind of little survival kit, my lunch, my fishing kit, whatever, a canteen attached to the belt, the old school plastic canteens. And fanny packs were just the way to go. And then over time, as backpacks started coming out in all different kinds of sizes and styles, and then the sling bags and the chest packs and the shoulder bags, so many other options came out that the fanny packs just kind of faded away. But I think they're making a comeback. Lately, I have seen some videos popping up of other people doing the same thing, going back to the old school fanny pack. So I'm going to give you a loadout on what's in my fanny pack, talk to you about the fanny pack I chose, and fill this back up with everything, put it on for you guys. This is first in a series. I want to make that known to you guys. We're going to come back and we're going to use all of this stuff. We're going to go out and make shelter. We're going to go out and get fire. We're going to go out and gather and purify water. And then at the end of it all, we're going to do an overnighter with just what's part of our fanny pack kit. And of course, the right clothing, as you know, this morning, and that's a part of it. You don't get out of your rig with just your fanny pack and a t-shirt when it's freezing outside. So I've got on a couple layers of wool this morning. I've got a head wrap on, keeping my head and my ears warm. But let's jump right in. So I got a couple cheap fanny packs on Amazon that will hold all of this stuff here with a poncho strapped to the top. I have poncho here just fine, but I decided to try the Mystery Ranch. This is called the Hip Monkey, and it's on Amazon. Comes in a wide variety of colors, and you know me, woodland camo that's it. But the price, of course, is double what the cheaper models are, but then you get what you pay for. That's a nice heavy Cordura. It's got a zippered pocket here in the front, which I did not take my first aid stuff out, so I'll show you here. Right here in the front pocket, I have all of my bandages, tape, some gauze pads. In another Ziploc, I've got all of my different ointments, burn creams, things like that. And then tucked down in the back, I've got some Advil, should I need that. So there's a zippered pocket in the front. All my first aid supplies are right in it. Then you have one big compartment here with a small zippered pocket in the back, which I have some wet ones and some insect repellent. Other than that, as far as organization of gear in here, it's pretty much just you have this big pocket and to dump stuff in. So like for me, I just had an extra pouch laying around at home that I used to shove a few things in. Other than that, everything is just down in here and I take it out as I need it. So back to the Mystery Ranch. You've got a nice wide waist belt. It does not come with any kind of keepers, so I took these keepers off another fanny pack. You'll have to come up with some keepers or some rubber bands or something, because otherwise you will have a whole bunch of extra belt hanging off both sides. Really nice heavy duty buckle. And what's cool, I've never seen this on any other fanny pack. going back to this side, compression straps. Once my load is in here, I can actually pull the compression straps up tight and compress the load. Carry handle, and what makes this for me is this right here. This is one big solid pad. It is like a 1/2 inch thick. Now when I use a regular fanny pack and I've walked a long distance, I actually start to feel it in my lower back. It's kind of like it's just pulling on my lower back. And maybe it's because this pad is so, you know, so dense and big that it distributes the weight better. But I have done a lot of walking since I've got this, and I have had no low back discomfort whatsoever. So if you have used a fanny pack before and maybe felt it a little bit of discomfort in your lower back, I'd highly recommend giving the Mystery Ranch a try, because this pad is really cool. And I actually found out on my last outing, just turning this over, and as I was laying down under poncho, this thing makes an amazing pillow. It is just, like I said, it's like a 1/2 inch thick pad. Really nice setup. So when you're doing a fanny pack survival kit, we need to make a couple small additions outside the pack. And what I mean by that is, obviously you have limited carry space in here. So you're going to want to carry water with you. I recommend some kind of a stainless steel canteen or water bottle. Here's a great example, 38-ounce Nalgene. That's not going to fit inside your pack along with this other gear. If you put that in there, you're going to have to lose some of your other stuff. But with any old water bottle carrier, like this Gonex, which they sell on Amazon for less than 10 bucks, the fancier ones that have the pockets inside that you can put a cup and a bottle in, a canteen pouch if you prefer a canteen, anything like that that you just can put right on your belt and make it a part of the kit so that you've always got water with you. Another option, just mentioned because this is something I've been doing, is rather than hanging my water bottle off the belt, I've been using a little shoulder bag like this kit bag from Helicon Tex to put in a canteen and canteen cup, and then actually a little Esbit stove and some powdered milk, hot chocolate and things. So rather than adding more weight to my hip, I just chose to add this extra couple pounds over my shoulder. So 2 additions that I believe should be a part of any fanny pack kit that would need to either go on the belt or your personal belt, or like in a shoulder harness, or a stainless steel water bottle, and some kind of a sheath knife. So whether it be a small knife like the little Becker BK14, something in between, or a monster like the Becker BK9, some type of a sheath knife. So if you're out here, let's just say you're out here hunting, fishing, you're going on a hike, out here on a picnic with family, whatever, you have a belt knife on, your favorite belt knife, whatever you like. It might be an old school buck hunting knife because you're hunting, whatever, and a water bottle, preferably stainless steel, so worst case scenario, if you had to purify water, you could boil in it. Those 2 things added to your fanny pack. Again, you can get a pouch, do something as simple as this, and get a pouch and put it on this belt and just leave it on the belt at all times with the bottle in it, and then grab your favorite knife and put it on your personal belt like mine is, and you're good. So let's go over this kit, and then I'll put everything away in the fanny pack and show you guys what it looks like when you're wearing it, how comfortable it is. All right, talking about the kit. So the one thing I would recommend to Mystery Ranch, if you use their fanny pack, and I'm gonna send the guys this video, the cheaper fanny packs I bought on Amazon had shot cord across the top. It had like 4 little attachment places with shot cord. So my poncho, which is my shelter, the recommended shelter, because a poncho is lightweight, compact, It's in a stuff sack, but it actually folds up or squeezes down smaller. A poncho attached to the top of your fanny pack makes the perfect emergency shelter. It's lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of room. You're out walking, a rainstorm comes in, just throw this over the top of you, stay dry as you head back. You decide to stay out in the storm or you can't make it back, set this up into an emergency shelter. So Mystery Ranch, I would put a request out to you guys that you either put some attachment points on here, a couple of loops or something, or some shot cord that a person could attach a poncho to the top. What I did is I just went on Amazon and I bought a pack of 4 of these. They're like sleeping bag straps to attach sleeping bags to the bottom of your pack. And I'll show you when I have this all set up, but I put the poncho on the top of the fanny pack and then just cinch that down really, really tight. And I run it through the handle of the stuff sack so that if it were to slip out, it couldn't fall. It would be hanging by the handle. And again, I'll show you that after we go through the gear. So that, along with a couple tent stakes, I carry 4. With 4, I can set this poncho up real quick into a plow point or a little A-frame like a tent and get out of the storm. So that's my sheltering kit along with cordage. I have a ridge line already done up with Prisic loops. You can see them sticking out here. Prisic loops are already on this, so all I have to do is string it up. And if I'm doing, say, an A-frame or a lean-to, I've got the Prisic loops to go through the eyelets on the poncho. And there's about 10 extra feet of cord on my ridge line, so I've got, say, 10 extra feet, maybe 12, that I can cut off and use for other tasks if I need to, along with bank line if I want to rig up some poles or something to make my shelter more elaborate. I've got bank line, and I've done videos on this. This is the micro cord from Atwood. So it's 100-pound cordage. There's, I think, 120 feet of it on here. You've got your cord cutter right here, and a compartment in the bottom which holds a small lighter. So I have a lighter for burning the cord, but also an extra fire starter with that small lighter down inside. Again, other than the poncho, and of course the bottle and the sheath knife, which are for the belt or your belt, every single thing that is on this stump, along with the first aid stuff I showed you, fits inside this Mystery Ranch Hip Monkey just fine. I have a whole bunch of extra pouches I've collected over the years. I just grabbed one that looked like stuff would fit in it, stuck on one of these little keychain flashlights, so I had an extra light, and my backup knife, Victorinox Ranger, Pathfinder edition in green, gives me backup blade, and a saw. Now you might choose, as I usually do when I take off, I also have a folding saw on my belt and my hatchet on my belt. Those aren't necessary to the kit, but this makes a nice backup. Or if it's all I've got, I have cut some pretty good sized poles and pieces of fat wood with that. And just for a little bit of organization, that fits right in this pouch. Okay, this is the one item that is not part of the survival kit, but it's in there because when I am out on hikes, like I will be shortly, I absolutely love to view wildlife. I mean, if I see just a beautiful elk or deer on the opposite hillside, or I'm looking up in the trees at the pileated woodpeckers, I like to see. So this isn't part of the survival kit, but it's something that I put in there for me, and that is a little compact pair of binoculars for viewing the wildlife around me. A bandana, of course. I could use my headscarf, but I always have a bandana in. The fanny pack shelter space for what you can carry is limited. Obviously, I can't carry, you know, a wool blanket or a poncho liner or anything inside the fanny pack. So I've got my poncho, and I have an SOL heat sheet to wrap up. Other than that, I'm going to have to use, you know, pine needles and natural insulation. That comes in with knowledge and training. Gorilla tape, help with shelter construction, repairs of gear, so on. Sun just now started coming up, and it's funny, just in the past couple minutes the birds started chirping, and probably squirrels, because I'm hearing things moving around me. Gorilla tape. Oh, other shelter item I forgot to mention, I do have a 55-gallon contractor's bag, so I can lay this out if the ground's wet, or I can fill it with pine needles and make a mattress. Worst case scenario, if something happened to my other poncho, it's a backup poncho. Water collection, a lot of things. Go down here. I have done a review on this. This is the Princeton Tec Byte. It only weighs a couple ounces, and it has 2 settings of red, a dim and a bright, and the dim will last up to, I think it is 144 hours. So crazy amount of light if I need it. And then you have 2 settings of your white, a dim and a bright. But the thing weighs almost nothing. I really like it. And as I said, I've done a review on that. I just have a small basic compass. In all honesty, out here in the Ochicos, because I am out here 52 weeks out of the year, regardless of the weather, and have been doing so for years, there are very few places in the Ochicos that I can go and not know exactly where I am and what direction I need to go. It's just basically become a very big backyard for me. And, you know, it's just one of those things that happens over time. But the compass is in here if I need it. Fire starting. And I'll put some of that back in this little pouch. I have a ferro rod, of course. I have a bigger one in my pocket that's always in my pocket. A backup here, which just fits down in this little pouch. Keep stuff. So I have at least a few things organized. Bright orange Bic lighter. Go with that little lighter. I have an emergency 4-hour candle, and I've done a video on this where I wrapped up in the heat sheet out in the snow. Temperature was well below freezing. Lit one of these little candles, and it was incredibly warm inside that heat sheet. And then a couple tinder options. I have some quick tinder tabs. And then worst case scenario, if it gets really, really nasty, I have some cotton balls saturated in petroleum jelly. And again, just so that I have some organization, I have a few things in their own little pouch so that not everything is loose in the fanny pack. Okay, some snack items, whatever your favorites are, but think things that will give you energy and lots of calories. So I have a Pro Meal bar, which is 400 calories, and a pack of peanut butter to put on it. It's another 200 calories. And just because I like them, the meat and the cheese. So I've got food and snacks. A piece of Atwood, that's me. I think in my shirt pocket, in every single pack, in every single kit, there is always a piece of Atwood. If it's raining and storming, I at least got some dry pieces to get some heat generated and start drying out the wetter stuff. Pair of leather gloves. These will sit right inside the fanny pack on the very top. And finally, water purification. My personal choice and favorite is the Blu Versa Flo. I've used this in some of the nastiest water out here and never had a problem with it. The Flo is much better than the Sawyer, is why I like it, and it will last for pretty much a lifetime. It's like 100,000 gallons or more. It's a crazy amount. Small piece of surgical tubing that I will just put on the end if I'm hanging this to go down inside my bottle or canteen to fill it. And one of the little CNOC bags, I carry the 2-liter in my pack and the little 1-liter because it's just the right size to fit in this fanny pack. And that covers it. So let me load everything back up in my fanny pack, guys, and then I will show you how this rides as I wear it. Okay, before we go out real quick, here is the fanny pack, the Hip Monkey by Mystery Ranch. Everything has been loaded back in here. As you can see, everything is nice up against this pad. I told you about the secure straps. Cinch everything down so you can cinch that up tight. Once it's loaded up, just holds the weight better against your back. And again, because there is no attachment points on the top or on the bottom, Mystery Ranch, add that please. I take the little buckle that I told you about and run that around. Get that tight. Like so. And so it's just run around, pack. Oh, and I put this, I'll do that again. I put the cinch strap through the buckle so that if the poncho were to come loose, the bag would still be hanging from the strap and I would know it, I would feel it, so there's no way I can lose it. All right, let me turn you guys and we'll put this on. And this is my setup for how I plan to do all of my hiking the rest of the fall and winter. So I have my big winter pack set up. I am in the process of switching over to it as we are getting down around freezing in the mornings. Fire season will be coming to an end soon, and so it's heavy. I've got my wool blanket, my canvas tarp, I have a lot more food. I've added quite a bit of weight to it, but it's only going to get carried as far out as I'm going to go to set up my base camp. And once snow hits, that's usually not that far before I set up a base camp. But then I'm going to still be able to take off and explore and have my complete survival kit with me in this extremely, extremely comfortable fanny pack, again, by Mystery Ranch. I've got my knife. If I want to throw my folding saw or my hatchet on my belt, I've got a small knife here, extra ferro rod in my pocket, but I am set. And this is just extremely comfortable. I've really been putting in some time with this fanny pack, and it is just so much more comfortable than the cheaper fanny packs. It's amazing. So guys, again, I want to just remind you, please watch for the next set of videos coming, because we're not just going to do a loadout and that's it. We're going to come back and you're going to see the different sections of this kit put into use. We're going to make shelter, we're going to make fire, we're going to go out and find water. Right now we're still in a drought, so the streams and springs are hard to find, whatever our situation when we get to that video. And then we're going to come back, and just using this kit and the appropriate clothing for the night, we're going to do some type of a overnighter, set up a whole camp with this kit. So Dan at Ochco Bushcraft, bringing back the old school fanny pack survival kit. Take care, everyone.